Archers, attack! Keep firing! Let none escape! Another down! Do not relent!
It's here. It's here. We're in the caverns of the Zaralek. I'm Slidewhistle.
'Tis your boy, Immunization.
The birthday boy immunization. Happy Star Wars Day! Yay!
Who's your favorite Star Wars character? Is it
All right.
Raymond?
Yes.
I am vetoing this discussion because I want to talk about 10.1, which just came out.
Well, dang. Let me say my name real quick. Aaron, Fire Mage Extraordinaire and Horde Punching Bag. Anyways, continue.
Also, fuck Star Wars Day always stealing my thunder. But anyways, yes. So, Zaralek Caverns. I'm excited. I love these episodes when like something new comes out because like we didn't even bother putting together show notes because we're just going to talk about everything that we've experienced so far.
We're back. I feel like two defibrillators have been applied to my chest and I'm alive again. There's so much stuff happening. Or almost, dare I say it, once again, too much stuff happening, but I like the confusion of everything going on.
And yet, my ass did technically go to the Forbidden Reach day one, but that was just
I saw
because
you
of
in there.
Yeah, that was just because I really wanted to get Rocket Turtle from the May trading post. And of the many different things you can do, some of them were Forbidden Reach based. So I was like, Lord, forgive me. I got to go back to my old ways and did have to scrounge up 10 keys, which I did the full loop with my buddies, got 2 keys. So then I just had to turn in elemental cummies to get the other 8.
That's so funny because like I jokingly said I was going to go back to the Forbidden Reach on day one, but then I saw you there. I'm like, what the fuck? Is this a bit?
Yeah, and there was like a fair amount of people there, and I'm like, so I assume we're all just farming 10 keys to get the trading post objective? Like, you guys can't honestly still be here, right?
No, so like the thing is, okay, so something that happened in 10.1 is it was like the health adjustment, right?
Yeah, they got 25% more health and they do 25% more damage, I think is the thing.
So I also
We do
was
or they do? Like the enemies do?
The enemies, I think.
Ooh.
So like I also was at the Reach on day one because I was trying to do the meta achievement a little bit, just finish up because I was getting close. But then I couldn't solo things, and not as many people were there killing things. So like I don't know, the mobs just beat my ass so much more than like the day before. So I was like, okay, never mind, fine, I'm gonna go to 10.1 like I should have. But okay, what do we want to start with?
Well,
here?
I want to start with the very beginning of 10.1, which I absolutely loved. You load in, and it shows you the double Matthew Mercer cutscene. And then you fly over to the Onaran Plains where it happens, land. There is Sibelian and another centaur guy, and you talk to the centaur guy, and you say, what happened? And he shows you the cutscene again. And multiple people, Vegemite included, were talking about, like, but why are we saying the cutscene twice? And I was like, why are we seeing the cutscene twice?
Yeah, I don't know. I also did notice this. And I watched it, you know, we'd seen this as well because like they released this like several weeks ago, right? So like we all watched it and talked about it then. And I did watch it again the first time I logged in at like on Tuesday. And then I did skip it 10 minutes later when I went to this area and then they tried to play it again. I was like, okay, well, I literally just watched this.
And my favorite part of that specific zone was that everyone was on their dragon riding mounts, so I couldn't click anything. Like, that took me 15 minutes of effort to just wad through, like, hefty dragon asses just to be like, Sibelian, centaur guy, where are you?
Yeah, I don't know why they don't restrict dragon riding mounts or just any mounts in general from that area. And they do it in like other places. Like, you can't mount here. I actually think, though, the 2 cutscenes thing was smart. Because what happens every single fucking time we go into a new patch, about a third of us don't get to see the cutscene because of a bug. So maybe they were just covering their bases.
They just like have multiple entry cutscenes now just in case.
Did either of you guys bury the dead Matthew Mercer?
Yeah, I did. But as you were saying, it was hard to literally find the ashes because everyone and their mother was just standing there. And then you had just like then like waves of text too, because people were getting frustrated. They were saying, move your fat asses in /say.
You know what's funny is that I was going so quickly in that beginning part, I didn't actually realize that that pile of ashes was a person we were burying until right now when Aaron said it.
Well, because, I felt bad because, Elder Chief was like, Sharmiar, he was the greatest of warriors. He will always be beloved. He's my favorite dude. And I couldn't see him. And it was like, you champion, you should be the one to bury him. And it's like, I'm trying to find the shovel. And then they were like, you were practically Sharmiar's best friend. As, like Immune said, it was a guy being like, get off your mounts, slurs. I was like, this doesn't have quite the narrative weight. I feel like it could have if you just made this an instanced thing.
My favorite thing about all that is on Reddit, I saw a screenshot of all the people standing over the ashes and all the items. And the title was, I wish I could turn players off in this game sometimes. And I'm just like, that's so funny to say though about like an MMO. You know what I mean? I want to turn everybody off.
I mean, I feel it too. Like on day one like this, I definitely feel it. But yeah, so this intro here. Also, I just want to say that I knew that because I've seen this cutscene before, and then we saw it twice back to back at the beginning of the patch here, that Furyk basically just blew up a part of the Dragon Isles to open this cavern. But seeing it for the first time when I was flying down from Veldraken was kind of jarring. I was like, girl, that's a booty hole.
Ah, shit.
Okay, have you guys gone through any of the other exits or entrances? Because I've only gone through the one tunnel.
No, I went through the one that you're supposed to go to, and then I set my Hearthstone to Loam, so I have not flown there in a while.
Also, speaking in regards to flying there, have you guys flown out? The first time I was trying to fly out to go the end of the quest line to go back up to Veldraken, I asked Slidewhistle, I'm like, how do I get out of here? And he's like, you need to go to Veldraken, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, just Hearthstone. That's what I did. I'm like, so you don't know?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm the opposite. My Hearthstone is still in Veldraken, and I have yet to fly out of Loam. I just heart every time, and I will not be flying out of there. I don't think.
Well, and because I have portals, so that's the reason I get to do that. But yeah, anytime it's like, go back to Veldraken, it's like, okay, hand wiggling. I have never seen an exit. That said, those tunnels are weirdly twisty, and I feel like they wouldn't just make them weirdly twisty for flavor. I know people are like, I played the PTR, there's no loading screen. It's got to do some sort of segmented loading.
Totally.
I refuse to believe they would take you through this small intestine winding path just for the flavor.
Also, I just want to say, everyone says there's no loading screen. I will say, day one, when I
you go and there's a loading.
Exactly. When I was got on my dragon, I was gonna follow Civilian and Rathian down into the booty hole, and you start flying down, and then they phase away, and then I literally got a loading screen.
I do have information on that loading screen. That was a scenario. Technically, that was a scenario, apparently. I only learned that after the fact. But I didn't know that when it was happening. And I learned that, on the way home, an hour ago.
You know, that makes sense, because flying back in a second time, that didn't happen. So, okay, fine.
But talking about that scenario, our ding-dang brothers are fighting. Those poor guys.
Yeah, so, the whole deal was that we were going in with Rathian and Sibelian, and we were waiting for, or possibly going to be meeting up with Abyssian, who needed to go get the Emberthal, right?
Scale Commander.
Yes. They have formed their own unit of super serious guys, and then we brought these two goofers to go meet with them,
fighting the whole time. And then I'm trying to remember, what is the very first thing that happens when we get down there? We fight off some primalists.
Well, you meet the new best race in the whole fucking game.
Yeah, but we don't meet them until after we fight off some primalists, right?
Yeah, you fight some primalists, and then, the big thing is Sibelian's like, we should be sneaky. I've got a cool head. And then Rathian's like, we're charging in. I've got the powers to pay the bills. And both of them sort of oh, we understand each other. Maybe we are cool. And then Fyrak appears behind you and he's like, just kidding, and bonks you all on the head. And that's where you wake up in a bunch of Krithulf, because one of the new trash mobs picks you up and is about to eat you. And yes, now we are saved by the best race in the game.
Yeah, and we're talking the Niffen. And okay, the very first Niffen we see, the one that saves us, is Honeypelt, right?
Mm-hmm.
BOG, Honeypelt, my baby girl.
I love that girl.
love
It's like,
her.
You silly Billy. You just gotta click on the crystals. You just gotta bonk them with a big crystal or two.
and I'm like, yeah.
Dude, she gives me huge tree trunks energy from Adventure Time. I was like, oh, you want some of my apple pie? And I'm like, yes, please give me some.
I love it. Slide and I were talking yesterday, I believe, and he mentioned, he's like, is this like one of the few like universally loved races that has been introduced in a while?
Like, who could hate them? Like nobody. Surely nobody has beef with the Niffen.
It's literally, and I know people would be like, it's just Twitter people. I saw people calling Blizzard rude for making them a sniffy race, because it's like, don't they care about people who have like misophobia? Or no, misophonia?
What's it called? Yeah, it's like the sound thing. Like as the
Kalis
spokesperson
claims
for
that
it,
she has it.
so I'm pretty sure I have it. But like, so certain sounds just piss me off. Basically, they just make me like fucking mad. Like people eating or whatever. But like the sniffing, like it's annoying. But you can turn it off, right? With a toy, they can turn it off. What's the big deal? Like it's there.
It's so beloved to them that I did buy the toy just to have more toys, but I was so careful not to actually activate it because I was like, you poor little boys and girls, I don't want to steal this away from you, especially because it's there for a week. You accidentally click on that shit, it's just like,
Fine. We'll just hide in our little holes for a week then.
A week, man. That's a really good. See, like actually really considerate of. I feel like of them. Be like, okay, we're gonna make the sniffiest race ever, and we're gonna give you a week-long buff if you hate it. You can assess weekly.
And I will say, I haven't gotten the toy myself yet, because the sniffing hasn't really bothered me yet, but I did at one point AFK in the inn in Loam, and I just had to like do something on my other monitor for like 10 minutes or something like that, and I was still hearing the music, which is great, by the way. I love the music in this new zone. I mean, I love the music in every zone, but like, you know what I mean. And I was like by like whatever the innkeeper's name is, and just like I was like jamming to the tunes and just like feeling it while I was doing something on the monitor, and I'm like, wow, they do sniff a lot. Like at first I thought it was part of the music track. No, it's just them sniffing away like constantly.
At least you're probably able to click the buff off and reapply it. So maybe when you are AFKing, it will be good to put that on to get that sweet low music. Because yeah, it's like it's so different. It's almost Pandaria-esque, I feel like, but like in a different way.
I had some thoughts about this actually. I was thinking because it sounded familiar to me, and I was like, it sounds almost like a mixture of some Pandaria music and Mechagon.
Mechagon is, yeah, I can see it. Hear it, feel it, taste it,
Smell it.
fuck it.
Oh.
I could pull my wiener out to this music, and I have. But not in front of Honeypelt because she is too pure of a woman. Or my good friend. I mean, I don't know. I feel like, are we going sequentially? I want to talk about Sniff and Seek now, my little friend Merritt.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I like a lot of this. I don't like the sniff and seek part with Merritt.
So I've only done the very first one that it like kind of made you do for like the advancing in the campaign. So I haven't gone back yet to do a second one. I figured the first one would just be like simple and whatever, just to kind of get you in there. Does it get any more complicated or more interesting?
Yeah, for the most part. I did one where the whole thing was there was a door that was like a big and heavy, and it's like,
We need something to blast it open.
and there are 4 pressure plates, and of course you can stand on one, you can leave Merritt on one, but it's like, what are we going to do for the other pressure plates? But periodically you could find coin monsters, like opulence type guys,
Ooh.
and they would do an attack where they would throw coins at you and they would land on the ground. But if you did it and targeted a pressure plate, they would stay there. So it became a thing of like baiting enemy attacks. I'm like, this is more engaging than, I don't know, something like the Scara Vaults, where 9 times out of 10 it was just like, kill the thing that's inside, loot the stuff. And so like we had to do that 2 or 3 times. Then we could kill the monster, leave Merritt on one, and I stand on one. And it's like, we busted open the door.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to go back. I have another. It's scrolls, right? You find for this? Yeah, I have one more to go, I think.
So I accidentally started a Niffen seat because I pressed it by accident when she has like 8 options sometimes. So like all the quests that you can turn in with her. So I started one by accident and I was like, fuck. And it teleported me into the maze, and then she was explaining all that shit. And I'm like, I want to leave. And I told her I wanted to leave. Does that affect, do I lose a scroll for leaving, or did I waste one?
If it was the first one, no. I will say this, because they always specify Merritt knows this dungeon you're currently in and will not learn a new one until you give them another scroll.
Okay. Cool.
So I think I'm holding my hands out. You could go to Merritt at some point and be like, "Can we go back?" And then they'd be like, "Okay."
Okay. Because I left it and I was like, fuck. I was like, did I double fuck up? So like, I really like the idea that they're trying to find new shit. You know what I mean? Like, WoW is old. They know they can only reskin the same thing so many times, and they're kind of running out of reskins. So now they're branching out. I feel like the UI still has so much upgrading to go through, and they're doing it. But that fucking 4-button UI for like navigating the maze, it just reminds me of being on a griffin flying around a bombing run, and my brain just turns off. I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I'm excited to try one that's a little more complicated, but like even on the very basic initial one in the quest line, I think Slide's onto something here. I hate any quest that puts me in a vehicle where I have to then familiarize myself with the controls of what these 4 things mean, because like most of the time, to me, visually looking at the buttons doesn't really tell me anything.
Yeah, it's a level of clunkiness that I think we will definitely adapt to as we hang out with Merritt more. But at first glance, I was like, oh, okay, what is this one? Picks you up. This one, okay, I want to go do other shit, Merritt. I don't have time for this.
But to get back into like the rest of the storyline that's happening in the caverns, there's the one storyline that involves Merritt as well, right? Because like Merritt used to like do digs with, it was Effie, right?
Yeah, Effervescera, I believe is her full name. But yeah, Effie, which is, it's a young lord of the community. Her mom is important, and then now she is important.
And maybe I was missing something, but there's a whole quest with Merritt where you just try to get Effie to go on another dig with him, and because I guess they used to go on digs together, and now we're best dig buddies, but he wants to go on one with Effie again for old time's sake, and Effie's like, yeah, sure, we can meet up at our normal dig spot. And then Merritt's like, yeah, go to the inn and pick out her favorite snack, and then we meet me there, and then we can all like go on our dig or whatever. And then you get there, and then our girl Effie just ghosts Merritt.
Yeah, what is up with that?
And then as far as I can tell, that's the end of the storyline, right?
No, that is not. You talk to her again. I don't know if you need to like get an extra level with them on their friendship level. There's another one where he's like, or they, I actually don't know what gender they are, but it's like,
Aw, Beans, I sure wish Effie didn't ghost me.
and then you go and talk to Effie, and she's like,
Oh, was I supposed to meet Merritt? Oh, I'm super sad. Bring him over here.
and you pretend to be her for a bit.
Oh.
She sprays you down with butt stink, and it's like,
Oh, we can't see very well, but everyone smells well, so just pretend to be me.
And then you have to do like family court for a couple minutes.
What? Okay, maybe so like I am sitting on like a rep token, but I also do have some quests floating around that I haven't gotten to yet, so maybe it's still in there then.
Yes, they do. They do patch things up. Although her explanation of like, beans, was I supposed to do that? Is like not great. I was like, Effie, you fumbled this one. You broke poor Mewit's heart.
It's like, I literally asked you this like 20 minutes ago. Like, yes, you should know this.
Yes, but no, they do have a private conversation and they talk, and then Mewit's like, I'm glad that she's my best friend still, but we can still be business partners. Like, Mare is never sold on you, but it's like, I guess we can sniff and seek whenever you want, however many times per week, but once guaranteed. Bye.
I mean, yeah, because like the last thing I did with Merritt, she I guess I also don't know their gender. They were like, oh well, yeah, we'll sniff and sneak, I guess. It's not the same without my friend.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
damn, what the fuck am I, bitch? Like, fuck off, Merritt.
yeah. After Effie ghosts them, they're so dejected. Like, I guess we could have a business partnership. But it's kind of like, fuck you, guy. Do you know what I've done? But also, like, yes, I'll take the steps to try and fix this.
Which is almost kind of refreshing in a way, because like maybe we're a little too big for our britches. Like, we assume that everyone thinks that we are the adventurers of Azeroth, that we're like such hot shit, and we come down into this stink hole, and then they're like, you don't smell like the rest of us here. We were blind. We don't know who you are.
That's actually great. I love that.
Merritt's like,
I see that you have Conqueror of Ogrimmar floating over your head, but I don't actually know what the fuck that is. So,
People have been making fun of their Midwestern accent. Like, I've heard a bunch of people like talk about it.
I love him.
Somebody in another Discord was like, they said it reminded me of them of Bobby's World of the mom. She's like, don't you know? Like, it's like the exact same like weird like Minnesotan accent in some of them.
Did like I just not think much of it just because like we are Midwestern?
Yeah, no, everyone's
probably.
like,
they're sick Midwestern accents.
and I'm like, I mean, they sound funny, but it's not overly wild. But yeah, I think it's just because we are Midwestern.
That's what.
So it's just like, what do you mean? I have a kinship with these people.
That's what everybody we know sounds like. They sound like Niffen, which they're all cute. It's fine.
Amy, Yabyag's mother, would make a great Niffen voice actor.
She is.
We need to get her in the booth.
I think she's Mewit.
You're also fucking me up. I think you're calling them Mewit because of the Big Brother reference, but I'm also not 100% sure if it's RR or WW. I haven't looked at Mewit's name plate very closely.
I believe in game, not Big Brother reference. It's like MYRRIT or something like that. So I think actually, if we're not joking around, it's Mirrit maybe.
Mewit.
Yes, it's obviously just a Mewit.
But we need to get to brass fucking tacks.
Oh shit!
I want to earn enough friendship tiles to buy that man's hat. Have you guys done that quest?
I don't think I have. Okay, so I will say, like, I feel like this is the first zone in a while where we approach it, and there are probably, like, 4 or 5 different, like, quest chains that you don't need to do to, like, advance with the main storyline, and they're, like, all their own type of thing. Because, like, we have, like, the sniff and seek storyline that you just said, which I obviously missed the next step in. We have the whole Ponzi scheme thing that is its own thing as well. Then we have what I think will be one of my favorite areas, like down in the, I believe, southwest part of the zone with the Drog Bar.
Oh my god, it feels like home down there. I've been hanging out there a lot today.
I did the daily yesterday where you have to deliver a letter from the Drog Bar training camp / snail racing arena. And you have to get on sexiest NPC of the week, Big Slick in the city,
What?
and it's like he's the fastest thing out here. Deliver this post haste, and then you go at maybe half a centimeter per second, and for 20 minutes you slowly go to Loam, and then you deliver a letter to a Niffen, and they're like,
Oh my god, that's the quickest I've seen it move in years.
Dude, okay, so I didn't do the daily yesterday, so I didn't go through that, but I experienced that snail slowness today when I was doing the snail racing quest. I was like throwing the fucking goop for my snail girl to win, and I'm like, come on, Snelly, pick it up. And I'm like, why is she fucking going so slow? And I'm like, she's a snail. It's a snail race. Like, it's not gonna be fast. She took fucking forever to get through that last stretch. So long that the man had announced the beginning of the next race. She was clear in first place, like by a country mile. And I'm like, please get there.
So I have a very mean story about that. I was doing that. I was throwing the potion on Tricky, I believe was the snail I was bequeathed with, and they were going medium speed. And if someone else throws it in combination with you, they go like double speed or triple speed.
What?
This guy could not time it out for anything. He kept trying to help me, but like he was like putting it too far ahead. And because it's a snail race and Tricky was way ahead, I was just like, you're okay. Like, you don't need to help. Because it's like, I'm tired of seeing you fuck it up, guy. Just go
Wait, you
do
told
something
him
for
that?
10 minutes and come. Yeah, and Slash say, I was like, you're good. You don't need to help.
What did they say?
But Aaron, there's a chance that like he could have hit one eventually.
I don't know. I would rather just do it on my own than expect this guy to have some sort of understanding of the mechanics. So I was just like, just go get a treasure chest, go get something, come back in a bit when I'm done.
Aaron said, your incompetence is fucking me up in this race. Why don't you get the fuck out of here? Honestly, though, so that explains a lot about why my race was so fucking slow. Because nobody else was throwing slimes at my fucking snail. Because mine was bashful. So does everybody get assigned a different snail, and that's why? So maybe he wasn't missing. Maybe he had like Roggy or something, and he was aiming at somebody else.
Well, I don't know. Well, because he was aiming ahead. So that'd be even worse if he had Roggy, because Tricky was the only one by like a mile out there when this guy showed up. He was only there for like the last half, and it was just like, I really hope you're trying to throw Tricky. Otherwise, I think you're just smashing bottles on the ground because you don't know what to do.
Also, I have to admit, Ian, I know you listen to the podcast based on the various changes you've made that we've said. I did technically, I guess, cheat to get an achievement because I got a random snail racing achievement while I was weightlifting with the drog bar. And it was a weird quest. It said, win a snail race with all four, Bruley, Bashful, Tricky, and Roggy, and you'll get a pet. So I got a Roggy pet because I completed all four. I only did Bashful because I could only do Bashful, right? Isn't it like once a week or something? Like, when can you pick another snail to race?
I don't know, because I mean, it's only been out for 2 days,
Right.
but I did it on Tuesday, and yesterday there was the Big Slick in the City quest, but there was not a snail racing quest, so I don't know.
So it gave me an achievement for winning a race with all four snails when I've only obviously done one. I only did Bashful. So and the Drogbar was complaining about how slow Roggy was. So is Roggy canonically supposed to be like the slowest snail, or are they all the same?
Yo, I don't know. I haven't done my first snail race yet. I am apparently behind the curve here.
Oh.
Come on, it's a heart-pounding adventure. It's the best 35 minutes of your life.
It's a weekly quest. They're gonna ban me. They're gonna think I cheated. They're like, how'd you do a month of snail racing in 2 days, bitch?
It reminds me of when Cubby Bub got like she got some sort of Zareth Mortis achievement for logging in the first time, and I was like, how'd you get that? I was holding her under interrogation because it was something I didn't have. I was like, did you cheat? Did you play without me?
What'd you do, bitch? Buying boosts?
Imagine buying a boost for like a random one-off like Zareth Mortis achievement.
But actually, importantly, eventually things do get serious. After all this Niffen sniffing, we do continue the storyline with Abyssian and Sibelier.
Yeah, I will say, if you are somehow not caught up on the story, I mean, you've had by this point 3 days, then this is maybe where you want to go finish it before you come back.
Yeah, so I believe, unless I'm missing something again, as of this recording, the farthest we can get is 4 out of 7 of the storyline, I think.
Yes.
And this is some pretty hard-hitting storylines here. Basically, we discover... correct me if I'm missing, like, something big, but, like, I feel like the big crux of the storyline here is that we discover that Furyk's plan is to basically awaken all of the elders of the Jarradin that had been slumbering beneath here. And these elders are the stronger versions of any Jarradin that we'd seen above the ground, because they are the veterans and the elders, and they know, like, ancient magics and are, like, just swole as fuck, but they've just been slumbering underneath while their, like, children fuck around up top.
I think that's so fucking cool, because the Jarradin have been so fucking lame, and I like the idea that at least in story there is a reason, I put in quotes, that the Jarradin have been such jobbers, because their big boys are Attack on Titaning us, and they're gonna wake up and they're gonna fucking become the walls and destroy us.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I don't know, people will be like, I love them, they're great, but I did not expect a very minute threat to become, like, the big thing. Like, Primalists are still here, Primalists are doing their thing, but, like, actual Primalists are taking a huge backseat to this army that I didn't even think about.
It's great.
I had written the Jarradin off as just like, oh, whatever, the Black Dragonflight will crush them. But yeah, no, it's revealed, like, no, there are zillions of Jarradin down under the ground where you couldn't see, and by the end of this, like, they're coming up.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking of fucking jobbers, like, during these storylines, like, Sibelian, huge jobber. And Wrathion, huge jobber. And, like, Abyssian, jobber.
He needs some milk.
Well, okay, so I will say, Wrathion just, disappeared. Where the fuck did he go during the end of the storyline? Anyways.
He was, believe it or not, he was learning Niffen stuff. At one point, one of the Niffen is like, we need to show you some shells and bells. And he was like, sounds epic. And he misses out on, like, the vast majority of the story because he was doing Niffen stuff.
Crazy. So, like, when he misses out, then, like, we are teamed up with Abyssian and Sibelian, and yeah, they just get, like, smacked the fuck down by Furyk and all of these Jarradin, because the big story beat here is that, like, it's discovered that Furyk has been absorbing shadow flame energy from this crater, and this is, like, the shadow flame energy that drove, like, their dad crazy.
Which is cool. Like, it's fine enough, but I can already tell folks are going to get mad at that one. I thought Deathwing was upset because he's always been upset. Why are you introducing this extra thing?
Oh.
Which is like, there's merit to that, I guess. But it's like,
Mail it.
there's merit to that. You can sniff and seek and find that out. But it's just like, it's one of those things. And I'm such a simp, but it's like, well, maybe we didn't fully understand it. Now we understand it a bit more, ?
Well, from what I remember, Neltharion's, it's like all about the whispers. The old god whispers, the whispers, the whispers, the whispers. So, like, with the whispers comes Shadow Flame, like, potentially. So, like, I don't know, it isn't that far off. I'm like, just because the word Shadow Flame wasn't mentioned doesn't mean you know what I mean? Like, that is just void energy. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like a tool of the void.
And it's not like other people knew about this thing. There's this whole zone that ostensibly only Deathwing and, like, the Deathwingettes, his best fans, even knew existed.
Some people are good at keeping secrets. Maybe he was gay. Who knows?
The version of being in the closet is in the caverns.
He's like, I've always been a man who was obsessed with the pursuit of 3 holes. You know, the 3 holes out of Zaralek Caverns that no one uses.
Are there 3? I don't even know how many there are. I think there's more than 3.
There are 3.
Oh, it's only 3?
I've at least seen, because the little icon shows up on the map. I've seen 3 of those, and 2 are very close together, which is, like, fine. And then there's 1 way spread out. I think you can leave out of, like, there's 1 by Waking Shores, and then there's 1 in Azure Span and, like, southern Onaran Plains, so they're really close to each other.
I don't know, maybe I'm a little too traditionalist here, but, like, I've only gone in and out of 1 hole.
I've only gone in 1.
like the Titans demanded. I do the Amish thing. I put it in and I don't move. I let it soak like it's a sous vide.
Oh, not a soak. Also, I do have. Okay, so actually, we have only done 3 chapters. So we are on chapter 4 technically, which is weird that it highlights it, but it hasn't. So when it highlights, the last one is what you're on. 4 and 5 unlock next week. And that's how you get that Slither Drake mount, that long snaky boy guy.
Oh, okay.
But talking about the end of the story as we know it.
Did we?
Well, we talked about Fyric Fyrak is in the middle of the Jarden zone. He's absorbing Shadow Flame, and Abyssian, Sibelian, and you are like, we got to put an end to it. And Sibelian's like, hear me out. You know how they throw these big spears that we hate because we're dragons? Let me get a hold of one of those. And he grabs a spear that's maybe at most 9 feet long. He goes, here's nothing. Whoop! And immediately this boy breaks up in fire. And Fyrak's like,
That was a literal toothpick. Did you
Yep.
think that was going to do anything, dummy?
he was like, damn, that's me.
Well, I think he probably has equipped himself to like protect against it, right? Because he knows how dangerous these bitches are.
He literally said, I would not be fucking around here if Jarden weapons did anything to me.
He was like, do you think the Jarden would work for me if their spears could kill me?
And then he hit Sibelian with the bad funk. He hit him with a Shadow Flame blast. So now Sibelian has, which he does get it fixed eventually, but he's got a little bit of madness in him. Something tells me Sibelian will be a sleeper agent of sorts.
Yeah, so basically, like, the storyline ends with, like, you trying to, like, suck out the poison of Sibelian, and both Sibelian and Abyssian are wounded at this point. You go do this ritual where you have to, like, suck the venom out of Sibelian, and then at this point, Fyric wakes up from his little, like, sleepy sleep nap where he was absorbing Shadow Flame energy in the like, caldera or whatever they call it, and then he flies up, and then we get that other cutscene that we mentioned in passing, I believe, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where Fyric, like, goes and just raises all of Loam.
It's pretty fucking dark.
I was not. We were making jokes about it. I was like, "Oh, what's it gonna do? Like, shoot fire at the sniffers?" But like, you're going around and you see like Niffen bodies. You have to like look at them. At one point, it was like the one guy who I think had a line earlier where it's like, I rub hope crystals because I hope to one day explore the world. And it was like, you see his desiccated and burnt body. A well-worn hope crystal is within his grasp. And I was like, what the fuck? Why are you killing the little Midwestern mole man?
Oh my god, not only that, but it was also like, you can see wild scratch marks of desperation as he tries to dig underneath, but obviously it failed. I'm like, oh my god, why is this so descriptive?
Mere inches away from the water that would have saved his life. And I was like, and then even the living ones are like traumatized. And then, you complete that quest, and then they're just like, do you want to buy my hat? It's like, okay.
But one of the most shocking ones to me was that, okay, so basically, like, what is Honeypelt just like the elder, the mayor, the leader? I forget what they call her.
Elder Honeypelt. She's got to be the leader.
She was like, it's sort of like spiritual leader. Yeah, just like town liaison. Like, it's like, Honeypelt knows the most stuff. So it's like she is at the head of most adventures.
I believe she gives us their weekly, so that she's basically the boss, is what I'm getting from that.
Oh, that's how you know somebody's the leader. Well, actually, never mind. Some random dragon in the middle of Eldraken gives us the weekly.
I was about to say, yellow dragonkin with 4 legs. I don't think he holds any clout.
Okay, wait. When is he going to hang out with the fucking Drogbar? He's always lifting weights.
Well, that's the other one you're thinking. You're thinking of yellow exclamation who's lifting weights. I'm talking about bracketed exclamation. All he is he's yellow and he has 4 legs and he's like, here's the weekly. If you come back to me, you get a boost to every single rep.
I don't think I know either of their names, honestly.
It's fucked up.
I talk to him every
learn
week.
Do we, though? Anyways, one of the most shocking things to me is that, like, so up until this point, Honeypelt had, like, this dude, her like assistant, basically her right hand man that was always with her, and his name was Bryn Sakra or something like that.
I think it was like
Yes,
Brian Sauce was a joke, right?
No,
Oh,
yeah, it was
Brian?
brine sauce because I was like vine sauce here, and yeah, it was brine sauce for whatever reason.
Yeah, and he got fucking nuked by Furyk. R.I.P.
Oh, okay. The honey pelt, which I love this because I feel like normally when we hang out with characters, they're just kind of like, oh, let me grieve, or the reaction is so like lame to like their friend's death. Honey pelt was fucking pissed. She was like, this cannot stand. She said, don't be sad, get angry. And I'm like, damn, honey pelt.
Yeah.
She basically popped the fuck off. She like went on this rant where she's like, do not be sad. Let this death of my best friend and closest associate fuel your hate fire. Direct it directly at Furyk. You points to Sibelian and Emberthal and Rathion. Use this hate fire. Fuel your inner hatred and take down Furyk with everything you can. Do not stop until Furyk is fucking perishing.
Her final line as she's like cradling Brian Sauce's body is like, you find the monster that did this and you destroy him. And I was like, whoa, Miss Honeypelt, monster hunter extraordinaire.
At that point, I slash saluted honey pelt. I slash saluted brine sauce, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill that son of a bitch. They did a really, really good job of making you want to kill Fyrakk, I feel like. Honestly, it's wrestling heel work at its best.
Yeah, we're like back in the territory days right now here.
To kill the man.
But all this leads me to then the next story is eventually your gang, including now Emberthal, tracks down where the Sundered Flame has gone, and it's big developments there, big like ... dots for the future.
Gonna rough some prisoners up.
I assume you guys have done this one, right?
Yeah, no, I have. And I was just something that I like made mental note to ask you guys on the show right now is, so we start questing now with this dude who is part of the Dragonskull expedition. I forget his name. I think it starts with an R. Just a human dude. Have we quested with this guy before?
Yes.
Or is he new?
Yes, in the Azure Span.
His glasses?
He
Yeah.
has glasses. He's kind of a little goofballer. And his whole thing was he was like, adventure is super silly and great. And he had a blood elf friend who's like, you should take adventuring seriously. And then they got into some sort of scrape in the Azure Span where it was like, oh no, we're gonna get crushed if we don't warp out of here. And Blood Elf was like, I will warp you out of here, but Renan, I believe is his first name, Renan, you gotta take adventuring seriously, my man, because sometimes you end up in a crumbling cave and a Blood Elf has to sacrifice himself. Bye. And it was very sad because if you visit him before this in Azure Span, he was like, my friend died. I bring flowers to his grave every day. And you can go visit the grave of the Blood Elf guy.
Damn.
However, he did not have a little goofball voice. I believe he communicated exclusively in /say, and now when you hear him, it's literally my nerd voice. It's like, we've found a lot of interesting fossils in the Zaralek Caverns. Let's go grab them.
Oh yeah, and people popped off they legitimately had a wrestling pop for the return of our first poop quest here, And I believe he's the one that gives you the find the guanite.
Oh my god, that is a poop quest. I saw it and I'm like, haha, batshit, funny, haha. And I'm like, oh, okay, now, yeah, poop joke.
Yeah, I appreciate that one because you can collect it on the ground, or you can get bonus by flying into the bats' buttholes themselves.
All right, Rannon, calm down. Don't get too excited. You know what's great is that we can have Rannon as a guest anytime we want. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, that's only a single tiny nasal shift away from my real voice. I could do it instantly. I mean, I can invite him instantly. I don't do any voices on this show.
But shifting back to the storyline, I also just wanted to go back a little bit and say that most of this questing experience, I felt like Abyssian was the only black dragon that actually had any leadership, any like tact to anything he was doing, because we were fucking having to hold the hand of the other two as they were fighting each other. And I just want to say that like when Furyk and I believe it was one of the big swole Jarden ancestors threw a spear and it hit Abyssian, I thought Abyssian died.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
I think you need to chill. Because Immune's been on a fucking Rathian hate kick. You complained about Rathian so many times. Listen, the Black Dragons are in their ancestral home of their father, of their king, for the first time in God knows how many dragon years. They're gonna fumble a little bit. They're a little shooken. They haven't been here, and Civilian's been here before, right? Or has he?
No.
I'm not sure. But they're flustered. They don't know what's like. This is their legacy potentially. You know.
I love Rathian as much as any other guy. I'm an agent of the Black Prince. I'll proudly put it behind my name. This patch has really just made it be like, I don't think either of our tan gentlemen are going to take the crown. I think, if anything, we're going to get an Abyssian or even an Emberthal.
That's kind of the
Or,
vibe I was getting from this last storyline. I'm like, wait a fucking minute. Is Emberthal in contention here?
Well, I guess if you really think about it, Emberthal might be the best choice because they have the history of the old knowledge of why they were fighting. I guess the only problem is if Neltharion was lying for a long time, that kind of soils her. You know what I mean? It was not on when he started lying to them.
I mean, but she has very obviously rejected that, and she has rejected any of the Sundered Flame propaganda as well, which leads us well into where we are in the storyline right now that we haven't talked about. We basically enter this vault space, and the big reveal is that it's locked to you're only allowed to have access if you were pre-approved, and Emberthal spoke, and she was allowed in because she was a high-ranking general of Deathwing, so that's why she was let in. And then we have this face-off between her and some of her other Drakthir people that she served with, and I'm bad with these names. What is the main enemy there?
Sarkareth. Sarkareth is there, who is the head of the Sundered Flame. And what does he have with all of his noodling? He has, and I forgot its specific name.
The Thanos Power Gauntlet, effectively.
It's like the Oathbinder, I'm pretty sure is what it's called.
No, that's 100% what it is.
It's the thing that
Kyrie.
Neltharion used in the original cutscene to control all of them. And he's basically like, hey, get down. I'm going to control all of the Drakthir with this thing.
Yeah, so then we take them down, effectively.
Very handily, by the way. And I don't know if it's just because I use a time warp and combustion, but Sarkareth is like, you will never steal my destiny from me. And then 9 seconds later, he's like, oh no, my kidneys.
And you know what's really funny is I believe before that fight, everyone that we're there with is talking mad shit, and then all of them are forced to be inactive, and we have to do all the hard work. I was like, oh, okay, fine. I'll make the Holy Priest do all the work here. And I also took down Sarkareth pretty easily. I don't know if his skill down for healers, but I'm like, oh, I didn't even fucking use a cooldown. This guy died pretty quickly. But yes, and then the culmination of this is basically that Emberthal is yeah, we're gonna destroy the fucking Oathbinder, which, yeah, cool, great, perfect. I mean, why should that thing be there? And then the mind control Drakthir were like, oh, where are we? And then basically they just decide to follow Emberthal. I'm like, do y'all have no brain? You're just confused all the time here.
I think it's gonna be Rathian. Only because I feel like it's just the most obvious one, and that is always the Blizzard's choice is the most obvious one.
They don't typically. I mean, they got me with breaking the Helm of Domination. I'll give them that one. But in 8 years of playing, 9 times out of 10, what you think will happen will in fact happen.
I will say though, then after this bit, we go back, and then I believe all of the actual Black Dragons, besides because we were just there with Abyssian and Emberthal, right, when the Oathbinder was destroyed. So then, like, I believe both Wrathion and Sibelian were pissed the fuck off.
Yes.
At us destroying the Oathbinder. I'm like, guys, that's the right decision. Who the fuck are you to say anything about this?
Yeah, Sibelian's like, why would you waste a piece of, like, an artifact that could tip the scales? And then Rathion's like, I had drawn cool pictures of me wearing that glove. What do you mean it's brokedy now? It's like, this is not a good look, gang.
It's weird because as an evoker, I kind of agree with them. Like, to just break it, couldn't we retool it? Couldn't we use it in some other way? Couldn't we use it to buff all the Drakthir instead? Like by reversing the polarity? I don't know.
We're in Arborist, the fucked up laboratory anyways. Might as well do some fucked up experiments.
Super soldiers is all I'm saying. Now, however, I was thinking about it. There could be a case for Emberthal being the leader only because the Drakthir need to find some way to stay relevant post this patch. And what other way is there to make them more relevant than to make one of them an aspect, which has never happened before, right? Only, like, never a Drakthir, right? Like, they're just regular ass dragon people.
Well, no, because dragons never, or Drakthir never existed, but they have elevated a random dragon to, like, aspect. So I feel like to up the ante, to continue, in my opinion, what should be good storytelling, yeah, I feel like they should make Emberthal. Like, it's like Sibelian and Wrathion, and even a little bit of Abyssian, thought they should get this because, like, their daddy was special. But you, Rando, you've earned this right.
And I feel like Pelagos, he kind of opened the door to, like, weird people getting weird positions that are normally, like, we only allow these people in. There was a fucking robot. And then we put a living spirit inside of it. So why can't a Drakthir be a dragon aspect? They're part dragon.
It would be kind of funny, though, like, at the top of the Veldraken Tower, to just see, like, a bunch of big-ass dragons, and then just see Emberthal.
And then her. She's just tiny over there. And then it's like, aspects come together for this. And everyone takes 3 steps, and she's like, she's just running for 5 minutes, and she's like, I'm here. Okay, what's up?
You know what? Basically, what they need to do is they need to have, like, they need to decide who wants to, like, be her, like, buddy to be there with her. So, like, whether, say like, Abyssian is chosen, and Abyssian is there just to turn into a giant dragon so that she can, like, sit on top of him whenever they're in their big dragon form.
It's very much big Shadowlands Covenant leaders energy, where it's like, I'm the Winter Queen, I'm the Archon, I'm the
Jayla, baby.
Well, I guess Renathal was pretty small too. I was about to say there was only one small one, but we had Renathal, who was like a pipsqueak, and then we had a sign for Maldraxxus for a while.
I think it would only be fair if Emberthal becomes a dragon aspect, that nobody's allowed to go in the dragon form while you're sitting in the tower. Only during combat, if you absolutely need to. But from this point on, if she's in, you all gotta be small peoples. It's not fair.
Which I think this conversation ties us in nicely to, like, up to the current speed of where we are, because at the end of all this, then we basically report back to Alexstrasza in Veldraken at the top of the tower to tell her what we've seen basically so far in 10.1 down in the caverns. And I just want to say, our girl Alexstrasza, I feel like she was right at her initial judgment, where she's like, yo, if there's Shadow Flame magic down there, maybe none of you black dragons should be fucking around down there.
Yeah, we've seen what it does to dragons, period, let alone black dragon. It was kind of a whole thing, 6.0.
And then, like, Abyssian and Sibelian and Wrathion convince her. They're like, no, we're stronger now. We're better than that. And then she just immediately was like, yeah, okay. I'm like, Alexstrasza, come on, stick to your guns here. You're right.
Believe in yourself, Alexstrasza.
All I'll say is they're like, we need to do our part in the Zaralek Caverns. We need to understand what our father fucked up on. I've gone back to Loam, There's certainly Niffen no sniffing over there because I haven't seen any of their asses around Loam. I'm like, okay, so you guys are having me do the research, and I guess I'll just write a letter to you. Thanks, Subterranean. Although he gained some points because I did see him combust. And I was like, the third fire mage. There's 3 of us now.
Who's the other one?
Kalthos, and he's dead.
Oh, yeah.
So he doesn't count anymore.
Yeah,
So it's like,
you got 2.
there's 2 living fire mages, me and Sibelian, and then Sibelian's like, high five, and I was like, oh, you're my least favorite dragon or black dragon, and that includes Emberthal, and I just knew this bitch.
BlizzCon's happening. Maybe.
Is
Wait,
it?
oh,
Is it
is
for
it?
real?
Well, so there was news, BlizzCon 2023 details to be revealed within 2 weeks. Now, I feel like if BlizzCon wasn't happening, they would have just said so right now, right? They would have, instead of making a 2-week announcement, they would have said it's not happening. So it's happening.
I don't think they're going to tease a big announcement that it's like, everyone stay home on your computers. I think if they're saying there'll be more big news, then it'll be like, it's open now. And then Ian like claps his hands. The phone lines immediately clog up.
The tweet from Mikey Barra actually says, you'll hear more in the next squiggly line 2 weeks. Could be a week. Could be today. Who knows?
That's the thing. I feel like, didn't they also say something similar like a few months ago? They were like, expect it in like April, squiggly line April.
Well, to be fair, they did launch a new patch, and people have been quitting because Blizzard's making people come back to work from remote work. So they probably had a bunch of hiccups on the way there. All right, the trading post is all garbage.
Yeah, when normally we do a trading post fashion review, there's nothing.
I don't care about anything in there.
I was
If
going to
you're
ask,
from-
is there anything that you guys are buying, or is it finally time for us to unfreeze our like Fire Lord's maces?
I already bought the mace.
I bought there was like a Helya small raid.
That's the only thing that I was considering maybe buying because it's a cloth piece, right?
Yes, and I'm so sorry. I don't remember what it is. Can't remember off the top of my head, but I did get that one. It's just like an Viking-inspired, Valid inspired outfit from that tiny raid. I got that. It was $850. That's me for the month.
That's what I was maybe thinking, but this is the first time that like a trading post thing has happened, and I'm like, I don't know about this one.
I kind of wanted the like pirate hat, but then I'm like, that's basically horde colors, and I don't really do red transmogs because of that. So fine, it can stay there.
Oh, but we also got news like today, I think, about like a new trading post thing that like also people will be able to buy with like real dollars. I don't know. Like what are the details about this Medivh
There's
thing?
a Medivh transmog pack. 3 pieces, comes with a feathered cowl, his little raven head, and some purple cloak around it. A cool design cloak, and one of the most, if not the most, beautiful staffs I've ever seen in my fucking life. You can buy all these 3 together for $8, or you can just wait, and it says this set is slated to appear as a trading post purchase between September and December of this year for the following costs. $225 for the cowl, $650 for the weapon, and $100 for the cape. Or $8 and you can have your cool staff right now in May.
Well, and I'm glad that the trading post, 1, option exists, but 2, it specifically blocks out like staff versus cape versus hood, because for me, it's really all just about that staff. It's got an entire bird spread wing. That shit's big as fuck.
This is so cool though. I love this.
I'm gonna end up buying this, I think. I to me, this staff is worth $8 of the designer that made this, for me to personally pay them for making the staff. I love it.
Yeah, I'm up in the air about whether I'll buy it beforehand or just wait until September, October, November, or December.
See, now I think they're gonna see. My concern is they're gonna have other banger pieces come out in the trading post that won't be for sale that I'm gonna want. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be if they keep doing this shit though. If they keep creating transmog sets you can buy for $8 that'll be on the trading post later, and they're not up to quality, I'm gonna be a little miffed about that. That's kind of shady.
Yeah, a little bit.
You're saying if the actual transmog is bad because you won't buy it and then it takes up space in the trading
if they
post
try to
later?
like milk money by like just putting every single like traders tenders item like into the shop, then you're gonna lose a little. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of shady to be like you can buy $8 for all of this. Like and like I know I said I wish I could pay for all this stuff. I didn't mean it. I didn't actually mean it because most of the shit is garbage. And now it's time for our top toot, bottom boot, medium moot, and I'm gonna start off so I don't forget what I had to say about it.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Although I don't see how I could forget because I did it. I never finish meta achievements on time. I feel like I'm always scrambling, and I was scrambling for this one, but I did it before the patch dropped. I finished the Forbidden Reach meta. I am now by the Forbidden.
So I assume that's a bottom boot.
Yes, for our Sergeant Major Commander Tazurla's records, this is a top toot, correct?
No. It's in Auga!
You bastard, you. I knew you'd do it.
Okay, fine.
Smell the salty water. It's here in a couple of months. Let me just get pre-ready with the fucking Auga. Love it. Fantastic. I'm glad it's over. I feel I legitimately felt accomplished. And like, yes, it was hell. Yes. They need to fucking buff the rate of the scrolls. Something about the scrolls needs to change. Because the only reason I got the achievement finished was because for the Valdraken and the Dragon Scale treasures, you can double click them. If you keep spamming click before the cast ends, you'll get 2 credits instead of 1. You need 50 scroll treasures. I probably actually only looted 30 scrolls because I got so many doubles that counted for the achievement at the end. So, cheated, but it still took me fucking forever. Like, it would take me like an hour and a half to 2 hours maximum sometimes to get 1 scroll. Crazy.
Just as a PSA to any DN Army members that are trying to do that Forbidden Reach scroll thing, make sure you kill all mobs in the area before you try to go about double-clicking a scroll, because I had one that I was able to double-click, and some fucking beetle that I didn't see came buzzing around the corner and attacked me when I was trying to get my second scroll off of it.
Also, you mentioned it's coming in a couple months, or like a couple weeks, which is in reference to Boat Day, which makes me think, what's the over-under? Do you guys think Drakthir got a boat?
They're gonna Draenei us.
Or do you think it's going to be, or not even Draenei, do you think it's going to be a shitty Alliant or Allied race boat, where it's just brown dinghy?
No, I'm fairly confident they will just get like, random, dumb, brown, normal boat that's boring.
Although, wait a minute, everyone freeze. Drakthir aren't an allied race.
No, they're real.
They're a race. So I think we're gonna be getting a little fancy red and gold scaled little dragon boat.
Are you saying that the Draenei aren't a real race, huh?
Yes, I am. Correct.
Well, you got a unique boat model. It absolutely sucked.
It's unique.
But it was nothing compared, or it was so much better compared to like the Mechanome boat. You know, Mechanomes, fully mechanized. They got a brown dinghy like the guy in Stormwind River is on.
What about you, Aaron? What's your top toot, bottom boot, medium moot, or hey, an Auga? Who knows?
I'm have to keep that to boat week, which may or may not be approaching. I'm gonna have to give myself a top toot. So I did ask everyone in the DNR Discord if this was them. So if this was you, too bad. You had time to own up to it. I was at the traders post yesterday, and I was walking away when all of a sudden Draenei cloth wearer, I could not determine their class, they whispered me and said, "I like your outfit," which was the Validjar outfit I referenced earlier. And I said, "Thanks." And then I walked a little bit around and I saw that they were physically next to me, so I waved. And they said, "I'd love to see your cool dog head." And I was like, okay. So I took off the outfit, because the outfit is a hood and then like a thing that goes over your eyes and horns coming out of the eyes. So I took off my helmet and they said, "What a cool face." And I said, "Thanks, uwu." And then they gave me a hug and I teleported away to go do dungeons. But Zira, I don't know if you're a listener or just a good Samaritan. Thanks. That made me smile.
You know that, like, sometime in between, like, the next time we record, somebody will come forward and be like, "Yeah, that was me."
Which will not discredit it. If it was someone I know, thanks. It still made me smile. But if it's someone new, I will smile 0.1%
I love the
more.
demand of show me your dog head.
When I told Cubby Bub that, she said furries are getting really bold nowadays. And I was like, I mean, I can't say it wasn't a weird furry thing, but it seemed very nice.
Also, you can join the aforementioned DNR Discord by going to DoNotRelent.com.
Ooh, plug. Speaking of plug, I'm plugging in the final aspect of TTBBMM, Aruga. Immunization. What's yours? I have a feeling it'll be something important.
Yeah, so it's something that we haven't talked about yet, which is a major part of 10.1. I am giving this a big old bottom boot because I did promise y'all that it would be a bottom boot on our Discord, which you can join by going to DoNotRelent.com.
Bottom boot.
Always be plugging.
Yeah, bottom boot for the fucking craziness that is the gear system in 10.1. Like, why are there like 5 different types of tiers that overlap with each other? I'm talking like, let me pull it up for a second here. There's like adventurer and hero and veteran and whatever, and it's like they overlap. There's different currencies that you need to upgrade them all. Why is this system so complicated?
I mean, I don't know. I think part of it is they're trying to be flexible. So, like, you can upgrade lots of different pieces of gear, but they don't want to just have you be able to stockpile the same piece of gear so you can upgrade, like, a mythic piece, I guess. So they're like, let's make a bunch of different ones, and they'll figure it out. And I'm just like, it's looking like a lot right now. I gotta keep, like, 4 different shields, or what are they called? Scales? Is that what they are?
That's the thing. I feel like I shouldn't have to do like graduate level research to know that, like, okay, so there's Explorer 1 through 8, there's Adventurer 1 through 8, Veteran 1 through 8, Champion 1 through 8, Hero 1 through 5. Past that, it's just from Mythic Raid or 16 and up dungeons. All these overlap. All of them require different shard things to upgrade them.
And the shard things turn into each other. And like, I have a wrist that is veteran level or something like that, and I've been upgrading it, and it's like, okay, now you need 2 dominated shards of the dragon, but also 1 like mystical shard of the veteran. But it's okay if you have 4 magical shards of the accomplice, you can turn it into 1. And I was like, this is too much alchemy and math, man. I don't care.
Also, they need to give us a separate bag for all this new fucking currency that they introduced to us, because, like, as we just implied, there's, like, fragments that make up these crests. There's all the different types of gear that we're holding onto because we don't know how the system fully works yet. Then there's just, like, the whole new currency of flight stones as well that we have to deal with. Like, my bags are stuffed full again, and, like, this patch just dropped.
So all I know is you can safely throw away explorer gear, because that's the baby gear that you're not gonna need. Now after that, I don't know what else to tell you. Their naming conventions for it is my biggest gripe with it, because it goes, and it's funny because I'm saying, how is anyone gonna remember this? Well, now I remembered it because it's so fucking stupid. It goes explorer, adventurer, veteran. Okay, why is veteran number 3 in the Digilution here? Because above veteran is champion. Wouldn't a veteran be an ex-champion, assumedly? Or is a veteran just an ex-adventurer? Like, what?
Maybe veteran, because it seems like the first 2 are talking about Explorers League instead of, like, being an actual guy who saves Azeroth. So maybe they're like, well, yeah, you explore and then you go on adventures and then, you know, you're like an old adventurer. That's a veteran. But now that you're a champion, that's like a guy who fights Garrosh Hellscream.
Or is that a hero? Because hero comes after champion. Now, I've always felt like hero and champion are like, gotta be like very similar in the naming convention. Like, I mean, I guess if you think about it, a hero, I guess a champion could not be a hero, but I shouldn't have to think about that
it's-
first, right?
Yeah, I shouldn't be dealing with like English semantics. Like, I guess a champion could be like, oh, they're very good at their job, but a hero is like, oh, they're the best, they're legendary. So like, I get it, but also like, I don't get it. And also like, does this translate in other places?
That's a good question. I don't know. Honestly, I think at the very least they should have made hero legend. Make it legend. Make it because there's also mythic above legend, right? Ugh. I don't know, man. I don't know.
All I'm saying is that, like, you mentioned Digimon, like champion, like if you want to have champion here, like have like instead of hero have like ultimate, right?
Ultimate? Well, they don't want to because Final Fantasy has ultimate, so they probably don't want to use the word ultimate probably really ever, but because like naming, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, whatever. I like regardless of the naming convention, I still think this system's stupid.
I would love to hear their meeting for naming the names though.
I'm so sorry. The 9
Right, how do you say it? It's hard, isn't it?
Digivolutions. Fresh, in training, rookie, champion, ultimate, armor, mega, and ultra. I was an avid Digimon fan. I'm an Agumon till my dying day kind of guy. Why did I only know half of those?
Armor must be like a side shoot thing. I don't know about that one.
This is my in-training Digimon, Pudamon.
He's just in training, so go easy on him. He's just a veteran.
Come on. Yeah, if I put a little more Digi time into his Digi levels, he'll be a Digi rookie. Also, do not put a helmet on him. That technically Digivolves him to armor, and I don't want that yet. Trying to keep him in champion.
But yeah, apart like just a tack on to this bottom boot. Also there are recipes for enchanters that also are involved in this that are also equally confusing because then I just had a recipe drop off my very first rare I ever killed in the caverns that gave me an aspect shadow flame thing.
Much.
And I believe that's the highest level enchant thing. So I need to start like pumping these out or something to make money probably. I don't fucking know. Again, like, why is enchanting also involved in this? Like, I'm just very confused about everything.
Well,
that's happening.
you are the I'm sorry, was Ultra the last Digimon thing?
Mega?
Yes, Ultra. Ultra was the
You
top.
are the Ultra. Enchanter is the Ultra of the crafting season. You're gonna be making everybody that special sticky icky thing that you make, and I can't even remember what you make, but people are gonna want your bread. Let me tell you.
Finally, I mean, like, I don't know how I'll go about selling these things because, like, from the recipe, look at the recipe, like, I need crests in order to even make it. So
you sell your services in trade chat, and people will give you their crests probably to make things for them.
Okay, I can handle that.
You'll be like, hey everybody, it's me, Immune. I just turned 30 years old, and I would like it if you gave me business. Just say that exactly, and then you're good. They'll know exactly what you mean.
I don't know what was posted on our DNR Twitter. I'm officially 12 years old now, plus some change.
You're gonna get banned from Blizzard.
12 parentheses and some change.
The change being like 18 years, you know.
You can be like every auntie and be like, I'm turning 29 for the Xth amount of time. And it's like, I would tell you how to live your life, Susan, but I would have respect you more if you just said you were 39 years old.
You hear that, listener Susan? Say your age.
You hear that, aged woman? Say your real age or else I don't respect you. I'm going to be mean. Ugh. I saw a 19-year-old who makes much more money than me at work today, and now I'm upset.
Womp womp.
This episode goes out to all of our favorite grub nectars and snailykins out there. We're talking about Command Sergeant Major Tejurlo, fourth host of the podcast, Monkey, Ahoy Vince, Instinct/Drag Race, Azarin, Digital Dave. Mitch wants to remind everyone that Rathion isn't daddy, he's a literal child. Crucifix, Saracen, Hawk, Satius, and Soup. Big, fat, ugly, bug-faced baby eating Adorno says, I. Baby Gersh, Myth Gersh, Wooly, Big Bear 13, Muv, Adaman, Ickis, Novadark, SSDB, same soup, different bowl. Vanderlyle, D. Gibson, Generational Talent, Smarf, the Base God, Slidewhistle says,
Fuck Crag.
and Will, a.k.a. Tire, Trade Chat's fallen father, who needs to let me know if I need to pick him up.
Will. I was gonna say, will he pick Tyre up?
Will I pick Tyre up?
Will
He
you?
needs to let me know.
Will you pick him up?
This episode launches early enough that he very much could listen to it and then think about, should I text Aaron on whether or not I'm transporting him to Chicago?
If that's happening, let us know, because we're out of here. If you guys have any comments or just complaints, send it to us at donotrelenttpod@gmail.com or tweet at me personally at navarrecoffin@gmail.com. I've been chatting with you guys in my pen pal section all week, so, if you want to get in on that, hit me up. Who knows? What about you guys? Where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me, Alex or Immunization, on Twitter at New Era Alex. You can follow our podcast Instagram account on the gram at Do Not Relent.
You can find me, Aaron the Human, at the Big Cheesy on Twitter.com. Read the show's literary musings at DoNotRelent.livejournal.com. And come watch me play videograms at twitch.tv/AaronDNR. I'll do more of that soon when I'm not visiting close friends. Wink.
And now it's time for us to order a Chinese. Everybody, we're out of here. Have a good night. See you next week. And remember,
Another down! Do not relent!
Do Not Relent is a podcast within the 3HNC network, representing U.S. Proudmoore's premier podcasts.
That was a very good wish.